Joe Rogan, watch this video. I was actually watching one of your recent videos, Mr. Rogan, and one of your recent podcasts, I'm sorry. And in that podcast, you mentioned how you didn't think that cellular networks and cellular phone companies should be marketing any type of internet connectivity on their cell phones if they cut you off after a certain bandwidth limit has been used up. And as an analogy to that practice, which you don't think is right because you think there should be unlimited bandwidth, but of course the bandwidth is not available through cell phones, so they can't offer it, so they offer you only a limited service right now. You said that would be like if a bank only kept 50% of deposits on reserve, so if everybody wanted 100% of their money back, then there would be a bank run and all banks would collapse. Well, the thing that I want to point out to you is that, and actually I'm not sure, because you did say that was a bad analogy after you said it, but it's only a bad analogy from the point that banks don't even keep 10%. Most people think the reserve ratio requirement is 10%. So in other words, if someone deposits $1 million within a bank, they only have to keep $100,000 on reserve, and then they can basically multiply that using fractional reserve banking to create an additional 9 million, so a total of $10 million in loans, because the multiplier is 10 on a 10% reserve ratio requirement, and create $9 million of fake money that doesn't even exist. It's just a digital credit debit crossing crossing state borders within the same country or crossing international borders. Now, the interesting thing is that was always a lie. So even that movie Zeitgeist got it wrong when they said there's a 10% reserve ratio requirement, or RRR, within the U.S. because back in the days, in the early 1900s, when they formed the Federal Reserve, Senator Aldrich was one of the puppets for the Rockefellers who created this thing called the Aldrich Plan. And it already denigrated the reserve ratio requirements and allowed loopholes for banks to get around it. So there's a lawyer, Crozier, examined that back then and said, hey, already the banks can multiply, the multiplier effect's not 10%, even though they say the reserve ratio requirement is 10%, it's already actually 26 times. So out of $1 million in deposits, they could create $26 million in loans and just lend it out and charge everyone interest on this fake money that doesn't exist. But today, it is even worse. So they can create up to 100 times. And in fact, the St. Louis branch of the Federal Reserve even posted something on their website online that said that back as 12 years ago, as early as 2000, more than 70% of all commercial banks in the United States had no limitations. So on how much money they can lend out from the deposits that they received. In other words, the reserve ratio requirement was effectively zero. So across all commercial banks in the United States, it's effectively less than 1% today, which means they can receive $1 million and create $100 million in loans. That's ridiculous. So in fact, what you said, I don't know if you realized it, Joe, but what you said on your podcast is true. If people wanted 100% of their money back, and they all showed up on the same day, Bank of America, Citigroup, HSBC, Royal Bank of Scotland, every single, Wells Fargo, every single bank in the United States, because it runs on a fraudulent Ponzi scheme, would be bankrupt, and there'd be a bank run. In fact, they'd be bankrupt probably when less than 10% of the people came to get 100% of their deposits back. They'd have no more cash because the whole system is fraudulent. So I want to put 2 links below to a couple of papers and articles that will explain this thoroughly, how much of a Ponzi scheme it is. I know that you're always looking for more knowledge. I know that's because of the various podcasts I've listened to. I know you had Amber Lyon on your show, and you understand that CNN is just basically producing propaganda and trying to pass it off as news and whatnot. So if this ever gets back to you that this message is personally for you, it'd be great. Go ahead, check it out, leave a comment. In fact, get in touch with me. You can get in touch with me at info@smartknowledgeu.com, which is my company, info@smartknowledgeu.com. And it'd be great to do a podcast where we can talk about this more in depth if this is a subject that interests you. Okay, so until next time, have a great day. Take care, everyone. Please don't forget to leave comments below, even if your name isn't Joe Rogan, about this particular subject. I've discussed it before, but it doesn't hurt to discuss it again, because this is information that needs to get out there, and probably the vast majority of people still do not know this information. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day.